Thank you, and welcome to the Little White Books. This is episode 9. Oh, who could this be making a public announcement?
Good morning, Mr. Land. This is Happy, here to brighten your day. Though our land has grown smaller, our hearts remain big enough to welcome our friends from the fifth wave, who bring fresh energy and ideas. Together, we'll make the most of every inch of Mr. Land. Now, a friendly reminder, progress thrives on cooperation and positivity. Any actions that slow us down or disrupt our shared journey will be met with the attention they deserve to keep Mr. Land running smoothly. If you see something strange, don't forget, a quick chat with Miss Bossy can make all the difference.
Right, stand back, everyone. 3, 2, 1.
Picture it. Trenches like those movies about the First World War. Mud everywhere. The land stripped bare. No green fields, no trees. Just house-sized heaps of multicoloured dirt and clay, like piles of colour-coded Lego bricks. But there were no battles here, just digging. Relentless digging, followed by sieving and checking every grain of soil.
Mr. Messi, come and see this.
That was the dig. Not some distant planet, but the back end of Mr. Land. The ruins of Topsy-Turvyland. Dust clouds swirling in the air, clinging to every surface. Up on the hill had sat Mr. Topsy-Turvy himself, sipping tea, reading his paper, watching us scurry like ants building our mounds.
Topsy-Turvyland was an affront to the senses from the moment I arrived. Shabby and chaotic, as if conceived by a child with a crayon. My house was more a playhouse than a home, and the land itself hadn't been thought through. It felt like a fever dream of a lunatic. It hadn't been designed at all. I went to see Mr. Topsy-Turvy, who was ensconced in what can only be described as a porter cabin disguised as a home. He was utterly detached.
Miss Contrary, you say? Well, that's not right at all.
It was clear he had no concept of ambition, let alone progress.
How did you get through my garden?
In fact, to be honest, I thought he was a degenerate fool.
Ding dong!
I thought he was playing some kind of joke on me, pretending to be weird.
Banana flaps.
I told him this land had the potential to be better than Nonsense Land.
You don't belong here.
It was pointless. I looked around and thought, what am I doing here? Seriously.
I bet Mr. Strong's already told you about the worm tunnels and the trains. They were brilliant, you know. And here's the thing. When the fifth wave arrived, they actually improved them. The land shift, I mean. I suppose it was to stop the flooding. While the rest of the Mr. Men were flapping over Mr. Land getting smaller, I couldn't believe the upgrades. Proper drains, real sewers, even new toilets, would you believe it? Let me tell you this too, in Mr. Land we needed it. Back then, because we were all living on top of each other, I spent most of my time underground, taking samples. Did you know I'm now a fully qualified pathologist? Yeah, 3 more years I'll be called Dr. Messi. Hard to believe, isn't it, eh? No one ever thinks me as a proper scientist.
I strode back to the town hall and insisted that I be moved at once. Topsy-Turvyland was beneath me, and I wasn't about to waste my time in a place so devoid of potential. Anywhere but there. Bossy made a phone call, then made me wait outside her office for hours.
Can someone please find a female to do this correctly?
I sat there on an awful plastic chair looking at the sunlight through frosted glass. She called me in and Mr. Happy himself was on speakerphone. Bossy watched me as I spoke.
Are you absolutely sure about that?
Put me on the speakerphone. She clearly belongs in Cleverland. Send her away!
That won't be necessary. Now, your book says Muddleland. but it doesn't exist either, not anymore.
Happy, this is all your fault for meddling.
Now, he was very interested in what I had to say about Topsy-Turvyland. I was the first new person to belong there. He asked if anything strange happened to me. He asked why I didn't like it there, and I told him there was a weird smell. In fact, I told him I wouldn't be surprised if one of those plants were poisonous.
Oh, now that's very interesting indeed.
Shut up! Hang up! Hang up!
I was sent to Muddletown.
I was living with Mr. Muddle in the bits left of Muddleland. After he'd signed it over, they said we should call it Muddle Town. But after the big shrink, it was no more than Muddle Street. Miss Neat lived just across the road. Oh, we'd give her a wave. Sure enough, she'd turn up her nose at us. She was the librarian, and she used to make me wait outside when I needed my books.
I lived opposite Mr. Messy, so every time I looked out of my kitchen window, part of me just wanted to shrivel up.
Miss Neat, very clean and looking, not messy. Mr. Messy, not neat, but good friend of Muddle. Miss Neat also has very nice gender. Miss contrary gender, not nice, but she's also neat.
Billeted? Is that the word? Not quite, no. But this nasty little miss turns up. She'd been sent to live there in Miss Neat's house. But, you know, she was having none of it.
No.
She said she couldn't touch anything in case she broke it, or Miss Neat started vacuuming under her feet. So she came across the road to our house. I'm amazed she stuck around for as long as she did, to be honest.
I moved in out of necessity, not preference. Muddle and Messy were tolerable enough, mainly because their absence during the day gave me time to impose a semblance of order on the place.
Time for job. Goodbye.
Their oddities were amusing at best, distractions at worst. Messy spent his evenings studying, books on every surface, while Muddle played with his toys, scattered all over the floor.
Toot toot, I am Miss Bossy. You under arrest.
After they ate, they went straight to bed, which were on opposite sides of the room.
Anyway, Happy called up the house one Sunday. This was rare, you know. I may be first wave, but I'm usually swept under the carpet.
I'm depending on you, Messy.
He said he had a special mission for me, and I was to go to Topsy-Turvyland with Miss Contrary and collect samples of the plants. She'd go in and pull them out. You wouldn't have caught me going in there back then. Anyhow, that's what we did.
Oh, I am so clever, so terribly clever. I am the cleverest in the land.
If you can believe it, Messy had some kind of laboratory set up underground. He invited me in, but one visit was enough. But he took some of the plant samples home. He had all the petri dishes, glass jars, and what have you. All told, they were quite attractive. Then that fool came home. Mr. Muddle.
I thought they were snacks. The jar at the window looked like pot noodle, so I opened it, and then it smelled funny. I boiled kettle, but when poured, it squirted some powder in my face that wasn't pot noodle.
When I got home, I realized Mr. Muddle had been turned into a cactus.
Please help me, Mr. Messy. I cannot see, and fingers are tingling. What's happened to me?
I did laugh, I admit it, as I carried him. It, a talking cactus, back to Topsy-Turvyland and planted it into the ground. It seemed the right thing to do, and it worked. He popped back into existence and ran home as if nothing had happened. But in doing so, I tied myself to that wretched land once more. That single act marked me as part of it. And before long, I was sent to the dig, forced to shoulder its dangers as we dug deeper into something far worse.
Leave my defenses alone, you horrible triangle man. Begone with you!
Who'd have thought of such a thing? Why could plants affect reality? We were given those paper masks that surgeons wear over our mouth and nose and began cutting it all down. I was given a tractor, but it was dead slow and pretty useless. Then I realised there was no diesel. So the only way to get around it was to go to Miss Naughty to see if she could get some across the border in Nonsense Land. She got it no bother, but now I owe her a favour, and that's never good.
Hello, I'm Mr. Wrong. Before you get stuck in, would you like a glass of this wine?
No.
Progress was slow at first, but Within a week, every tree, flower, and weed had been uprooted, shredded, and burned. The land was stripped bare, reduced to a desolate, desert-like wasteland. It was meant to become much-needed new territory for Mr. Land, free from all the surreal, reality-warping nonsense. But we never built anything on it. Instead, we just kept digging.
I used to have a thing for Miss Starr. She's very attractive. Anyhow, Miss Helpful used to come round to help Mr. Muddle with his reading, you know.
Okay, let's try this one. T-I-C-K-L-F-E. That's right.
Helpful was mates with Miss Starr, so when there was a show on, she'd drag me along with her too. Miss Starr's theatre was a warm and welcoming place. It was brand new, luxury. This also meant I got used to seeing a lot of Mr. Funny.
Showtime! 5 tickets, please.
Lo, I am but one of the 5th born wave. The floods did bring me to this place, but stole from us all an endless space. The forest lost now naught but flowered grace. This aching loss, it crushes heart and soul, and makes me feel my being takes its toll. Yet, hark,
Can I have some popcorn?
from this despair a hope doth rise, for new beginnings betwixt dark skies. Miss Sunshine's light shall pierce the night, and Mr. Clever's mind shall shake thine earth.
What's the time?
While Mr. Messy digs treasures of untold worth.
I want to go to the toilet.
But lo, in Nonsense Land, the shadows fall. A ticking clock proclaims the coming squall. The wizards may descend, and with their darkened arts, unleash their spells and curses, tearing us apart. For whispers tell, the more we are, the more Mr. Land shall bloom and rise to soar.
Well, that was nice, wasn't it? Happy put me in charge of the old dig. I got to admit, I missed drain work, the stool samples and the sewage, but this was proper physical exercise, you know. It's good for you. But then we started digging up these artifacts, or as Muddle called them, treasure items.
In Topsy-Turvyland, Mr. Messy dug through muddy ground with dirt in his fur and a grin so wide, he found a box with stories inside.
Radiation. I'd worked it out for myself, but Happy knew. He downplayed it. We didn't get ill, not really. The humans did, but Mr. Men were fine. He knew. We were digging at the green level, about 5 or 6 meters down. The radiation was deep into the purple. We didn't need to go that deep. Not until the end.
I remember all that digging. It was great fun, especially when we started digging up those strange things. It was such a shame when we all started to get sick, because I would have liked to have dug up more. Then we all got these horrible headaches and I couldn't eat. Then I started turning grey.
Miss Naughty will fix you when times get tough. Her special medicine's got a sneaky twist. Guaranteed health, but you'll be on her list. And while you're there, don't forget to browse the shiny new TV for your house.
The big profit came from anti-human repellent spray, pharmaceuticals, and luxury foods. 3 things that we used to rely on humans for. And then, when Happy started digging up Topsy-Turvyland, people sadly got sick. And my organisation grew stronger.
I found something. In the ground, the artifacts, the treasure, was all Mr. Men merchandise. You'd dig up a bit of dirt, maybe pull away a rock, and there it was. A factory-sealed Mr. Happy Biscuit tin or a Mr. Tickle watch, still ticking.
Tickle time!
Oops.
There were lots of us digging away. But it was all just tat, to be honest. Who cares about getting a Mr. Clever lunchbox?
Ah, here I am. A Mr. Wrong jigsaw puzzle. 10 chewable pieces. Tough.
But then we started finding books. They were little white books, but they weren't about us. In fact, they weren't even in English or any language I know. Their pictures were smeared, like fakes that had been badly copied. Changed.
If we found a book, it got put in a metal-strong box and sent to Happy. He kept all the books, saying no one could read them or even hold on to one. But I found one with what looked like Mr. Muddle in it. I hid it before anyone noticed and took it home. I made Muddle swear to keep it secret and showed it to him.
That's me.
Of course, he couldn't help himself and started showing everyone. That's when Miss Bossy showed up and locked the pair of us up.
You have the right to remain silent, but I may harm you if you decide to do so.
Muddle, not silence. Look at Muddle book. Worm time! Ha ha ha.
In prison, I made lots of friends because Miss Bossy would often send new people. This is where I became friends with Mr. Muddle and Mr. Messy. Before bedtime, Mr. Messy would tell us amazing stories about Topsy-Turvyland. Mr. Clever visited me in prison every week, so I told him all the stories I had been told. I also told him that Mr. Messy was a scientist, and I thought he was cleverer. Mr. Clever didn't like this, so he told me that he was now a scientist too. Then he went to Mr. Messy's job in Topsy-Turvyland.
Now, I must say, my genius proved invaluable when we uncovered the solution. I quickly realized that the last remaining building was Mr. Topsy-Turvy's house. I wondered why he was still there while all around him was a wasteland. Then it occurred to me that he was in fact guarding something. I had him arrested and imprisoned, whereupon we demolished the building and excavated the entire area. Buried beneath, into the blue layer of dirt, was an ancient machine. Thank you to my incredible intellect, I was able to name it the Rainbow Engine.
Clever wanted me to take charge of the machine we found underground, just because it came from the same place I did. I was uniquely qualified, he said, but I wasn't having it. No. From a distance, the machine looked stunning, like a giant church organ surrounded by stained glass windows. It shimmered with every colour, lights dancing across tubes and little steps leading up to it. But the closer you got, the worse it felt. That same awful sickness we'd felt underground crept over you. I didn't want to end up turning grey, so I kept my distance. I told them, no. Find someone else. Maybe the only reason Mr. Clever was even there was because he looks like me.
I fear for my life. My next recording may be a blank cassette. I thought I was clever, at least cleverer than Mr. Clever, but no, here I am, languishing in a Mr. Land prison, without even a cushion. Imagine it, me, outfoxed, outmaneuvered by my fellow patriarchs. They tore up my garden and unearthed all my most disgusting secrets. You're probably thinking, well, Topsy had it coming, what with the wizard and the hush-hush arrangements? But I refer you to tape 24 of my personal archive, where I make it very clear. I protected the machine to keep the Mr. Men safe. That's my purpose. My raison d'etre. My you get the idea. And let's not forget, the agreement to guard the blessed thing was with Mr. Happy. By attacking my garden, he broke that trust. And who set it all in motion? That ungodly Mr. Snow. Oh, whoa, Mr. Snow! Skirk. I blame him for discovering it in the first place. And now that little saboteur, that cunning creature, that goblin in spectacles, that Mr. Clever, has ruined everything. He was meant to be on my side. Perhaps I was a touch unkind when he gave up Cleverland. But does that justify betrayal? I think not. And let's be honest, it's her fault. Miss contrary to popular demand, she's not even the right shade of orange. Disgraceful. I miss my garden.
Happy? Supported the project. That's all. The real thinking was mine. I cracked the land shift. I mapped it. I understood it. The fifth wave shrink was what we call him, a learning mistake. I know that, but it showed us something. The shift can be reversed, controlled. What I've learned works. This is how Mr. Topsy-Turvy fixed Nonsense Land and betrayed us. The sixth wave was our chance to make Mr. Land could grow properly, bigger than ever. The start of a golden age for the Mr. Men. That like the world has never known. Yes, ethically inconvenient, but progress always is. Miss Contrary had an incredible affinity for the machine, instructively know what each setting did. This is because she belongs to the land. I am very proud of her and wish she had been born to me in Cleverland. It is, I know she was coming. If I would have thought twice about giving it up. But that was of no matter. Ultimately, the machine was so radioactive, it devastated her body quickly. But never mind.
Before humans were banned from Misterland, I saw trouble coming. My manor in Big Town isn't my only property. I own most of the houses there too. As their landlord, I felt a duty to my tenants, so I gave them 3 days to vacate Big Town. They weren't thrilled, but I arranged with Mr. Nonsense to rehouse them in Nonsense Land. Well, they could do whatever filthy things humans do these days. This worked until I invoiced Mr. Nonsense for the human resources I'd provided.
Value of Nonsense Land chocolate coins as low as a submarine.
He eventually paid, which covered my rental losses. I've no idea if he sold the humans to someone else.
Exchange rate equal to cowpat.
Not you! Members only!
I was friends with Miss Bossy before, but then she started saying strange things like cutting the dead wood from the tree. She meant getting rid of people, you know? After that, I didn't want to go to the Sunday meetings at the town hall anymore. Instead, I started a reading group in the library. Somehow, Miss Bossy managed to keep the town hall all for herself. It became her place to yell at everyone. I think the other Mr. Men only went there because they liked watching the drama.
I started selling medication for what I called new wave anxiety.
We only accept Mr. Coin.
The same medication that Miss Sunshine had relied upon.
Can you exchange some for this Mr. Jelly biscuit tin?
Dirty human people, clever Mr. Men, sold off our sunshine, won't get it again. Nonsense man loves you, we no longer care. Mr. Men don't love you, Mr. Land beware.
Society fell apart the moment Mr. Coins became the measure of worth. Those with money moved forward, bought influence, rewrote the rules. The rest, those still clinging to kindness, still offering help for free, still wasting time on humans, were left behind. They thought being useful would save them. It didn't. Naughty and I had a choice. The humans wanted to trade, money for merchandise, but it meant losing our own supplies, giving away parts of Misterland to people who didn't live there. I hesitated. Naughty didn't. She said yes, and she was right. The business grew. The money poured in, but the goods started to dry up without new stock to refill the shelves. Our world got smaller and smaller, just like the land itself. Oh well.
You know, they say you're never more than 6 feet from a human, but there weren't many. You could easily go a few days without seeing any, even if you worked at the border. And those with permission to enter, they didn't hang around for long. They just went in, did what they needed to do, and got out before, someone changed his mind. Oh, it just made sense. Suppose. Just like Happy said, these were human problems. Mr. Men, they wouldn't conjure up things like radiation. This was all human ideas that had infected us. We were getting rid of the human problems.
Topsy-Turvyland was doomed the moment I set foot there. Like its patriarch, it was unfit for anything.
No, I will not come quietly.
Useless for anyone with a scrap of ambition.
I'll remember this, Mr. Clever.
Did you hear? Mr. Clever was a proper scientist. Pathology is more of an hobby, really.
Mr. Messy may have had the brains, but brains alone don't make you successful. It's people like Mr. Clever, with their ability to seize the moment, who get ahead.
I have always been driven to be the cleverest I can be, which is significantly more clever than Mr. Dizzy.
His science is a little more than a string of lucky guesses, but he knew how to wield influence and turn failure into triumph. That's why I chose him. He shared my drive, my thirst for progress, even if he stumbled into it with less grace than I would have liked.
The bright side was that with Clever obsessed over the rainbow engine, he'd lost interest in the dirty work.
Levelling Topsy-Turvyland wasn't a loss. It was a necessity.
Hello, Miss Naughty. I have a box of special little white books here. Ever heard of something called blasting dynamite?
Digging up every last root of that absurdity felt right, like pulling weeds from a garden.
It's my garden.
The humans, too. Obstructions to progress.
They let me out so I could get back to the dig.
Welcome back. Would you like one of these tablets?
I sleep soundly knowing I did what needed to be done. As for friendship, what's that, really?
Mr. Messy will always be my best friend, even though he's dirty, smelly Messy.
Mr. Muddle is the friend he deserves. Messy was amusing for a time, but he lacked the drive to rise above the muck. That's why he'll always be pottering around with fecal matter in test tubes while I work with a vision towards utopia.
I'm so proud of you.
But when I think of the rainbow engine, its hum like a hymn of progress, I know I chose correctly.
But when I arrived, the pits were much deeper. And I found them, just dumped there, a pile of human bodies.
Progress doesn't wait for niceties. It's messy and clever, and unapologetic, rather like me. And that makes me happy.
Episode 9 of Little White Books starred Freya Storch as Miss Contrary and Peter Baker as Mr. Messy. Also appearing were Nicola Proctor as Miss Bossy, Jordan Wistuba as Grumpy, Ellen Forrest as Miss Neat, Michael M. as Mr. Rush, Velenzia Spearpoint as Naughty, John Lewis as Mr. Forgetful, Pete McGiffen as Snooty, and Paul Walsh as Mr. Dizzy.
This production is unofficial and not connected to, approved by, or licensed by the rights holders of the Mr. Men and Little Miss characters. Mr. Men and Little Miss are trademarks of THOIP, a Sanrio company. All rights to the original characters and stories belong to them. You will also hear versions of the theme song, All Friends Together, throughout the series. The original was written by Dave Cook.
The Mr. Men and Little Miss characters were originally created by Roger Hargreaves. The books are published in the UK by Farshawe and in France by Hachette Jeunesse.